So I finally got a saddle rack in the lower end, so now I don't have to stand on a step stool. G's bridles are there, and then my tack trunk is over here. So I'll kind of do a voiceover on certain parts, so Gideon there farts in my face because that's his favorite thing to do other than whipping me in the face with his tail. And when it's not brushed out, it is very hard, so you can see he really thinks I'm an annoyance. He's constantly swishing at me. So every ride, he's usually pretty clean, other than being usually covered in urine, but he doesn't like baths, so unfortunately, nothing I can do about that. So he stayed pretty clean between his rinsings, and so I just take my stiff brush and I go over any part of his body that might be dusty or have some dried mud or dirt on it. I go all the way from head to toe and I check his legs. There I'm checking because he had his leg blow up the other week and it seemed like he got a kick right on the cannon bone. So it's slowly healing and he's not too sore on it. So I kind of do both sides. I'll speed up the side that you can't see because that's kind of boring. And then the rest of our routine is picking feet and then fly spray. Even though we ride inside, he is absolutely convinced that all of the bugs are inside as well as outside. So if I don't, he will spend the entire ride trying to kick at his stomach because of the invisible flies and mosquitoes that don't exist. Other than that, our pre-ride grooming is pretty straightforward. Sometimes if I'm feeling like taking my time, I'll go over with a soft brush, or I'll curry off the fly gunk from his legs, or I'll, brush his face, brush his mane, brush his tail. But I don't do that too often because, especially with his tail, there's things he does that kind of pulls the hair out, like rubbing his butt on his feed bucket, and then just playing with his friends in the pasture. He usually has chunks of his tail missing, so I don't want to brush it too much. So I always try to do that infrequently. So enjoy the rest of our grooming. Okay, so now we're going to tack up, minus the bridling because he kind of throws tantrums with bridling. And as you can see, I generally tend to get ready in the stall because I want him to eat until we're riding. I want him to have that buffer in his stomach since he is ulcer prone and we just finished his ulcer treatment. So I don't want anything stressing him out or causing his ulcers to flare up again. So he eats until the very end, which becomes a fight between whether or not he's going to stop eating and I can get a bit in his mouth. It was much easier when we were going bridleless, but we are incorporating the bit back into our workflow. So I usually throw on his martingale first, and then I throw on his pads. Today we went with a burgundy Weatherbita saddle pad, contoured, which I like the shape of, but I wish the spine was longer. As you can see, my half pad is longer than all of my saddle pads. I need a contoured saddle pad that has a 22-inch spine. Just throwing it out there in case anyone wants to design. I have an Ogilvy pad. It just keeps it completely off his back, which seems to work best for him. And I make sure that everything's tucked up into the channel of the saddle so that it's comfortable and off his back. I always do the girth on the lowest setting and I make sure everything is equal on both sides. That way he's comfortable until we go ride. And yeah, that's pretty much all we do for tacking up. At the end, you'll see me waiting around for him to finish eating so that I can put his bridle on. Okay, so now we are the post ride. He was really good. You can see the riding vlog. I posted it last week. It'll be the most recently posted video other than this one, and he was really good. So I start untacking him. Obviously, the bridle came off already. It's the first thing I do when we get to the stall because he'll automatically go grab water, and I don't need him dribbling on me. So I take his martingale off, give him some love after I take his saddle and his pads off. He's usually kind of an itchy guy, so you'll see he will itch. He's quite flexible. The vets are very impressed with his stretchability. So after I get his tack off and I kind of take myself apart, take off my helmet and my boots and put on my waders and all of that, I'll get the wash stall set up. I let the water run before I take him in there because he does not like cold water. So I try to let it warm up a little bit before I bring him in. I'm going to fast forward through this part because it's kind of boring, but if you may or may not have known, 2 months ago, he wouldn't go in the wash stall. He actually had a panic attack in there. While I was trying to groom him one day. We're working on his anxiety, and he's really come a long way. So I'm super happy with that. He still hates the wash stall, though, because it's always damp in there, so there's a lot of gnats and mosquitoes. And so I try to be as quick as possible. So I'll put my hoof coverage stuff, my, what's it called? Sure Hoof. It's pine tar oil. And the vet really not the vet, my farrier really recommends it. He really likes it and actually says it's really helping his feet. So I use that. He's really sensitive with the water. I try to move as fast as I can. He will not stand for a whole bath. The longer you're there, the worse he gets because he hates the feeling of dripping water off his stomach, even if you squeegeed him. I always know whether he's colicky or not because if I throw him in the wash stall, he will 9 times out of 10 poop in the wash stall, which I absolutely hate. And he gets kind of fidgety. You can see he's not super comfortable. So I will take my squeegee and I will only do one side at a time. So I just use my hand and the hose to rinse off his sweaty spots. And then I go straight in with my squeegee to get that water off to try and make him more comfortable. Here is the part where the day went wrong, where Gideon attempted to create another vet bill for me. So after we ride, because he hates the feeling of dripping water, even if I squeegee him, he always wants to roll. So I pulled him in and we were walking. I thought he was following me. He went down right by the wall. I pulled him here, thought he was going to get up. Nope. Turned right over and hello, back end cast on the wall, trying to put his foot through the wall, through the lunge lines, and scared the bejesus out of himself. Luckily, he was okay, and he just, this look at the end, I ask him if he's okay, and he's like, I'm so sorry, Mom.
So I thought I'd do a little outro while I'm driving on my way home. So from that last clip, obviously, what happened was Gideon hates being wet after a bath. He hates the dripping off his stomach even after I squeegee him. So I always allow him to roll. It kind of helps him dry faster. Well, we got in there and he even tried to lay down before I got him to where I did. I got the lunge on him because there was other people in the arena, and I pulled him away from the wall in the door, and I thought he was following right behind me, and he actually went down still too close to the wall. And you can kind of see for a second I'm trying to like pull him to get him up, and I knew it was a lost cause, and I just had to hope for the best. So his hind end got cast. I was kind of hoping once he hit the wall he would just stop, but he didn't. He started thrashing. So as far as I can tell, nothing on his leg. I stayed about a half hour after. Nothing on his leg was heating up. Nothing on his hind end or back was sore when I left. So I put liniment on his legs, and Cass is going to check on him for me tomorrow because I'm not going to be going out, just to make sure he's not like all ballooned up or like chronically limping or anything. So I'm glad he felt so good during the ride, just for him to go and screw it all up, because he couldn't wait 2 more seconds to walk 2 more feet away from the freaking door. I'm dead. I don't know what to do with him. He's like a walking accident. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. It's probably going to be the last for a while now, because he probably hurt himself. So this is the story of my life. But thanks for coming along.